You can't
Hello, you
reach
guys.
it on my computer.
It's good to see everyone here after, what, 3 months?
There's no way
Yeah.
it's only been 3 months.
Yes. Almost. Almost.
You mean half a lifetime? That's what
We have not seen or talked
Half
to each other in 3 months.
No,
Correct.
this whole session is just gonna be us catching up out of character. Yes. I guess last we left off, the party took an excursion out on a ship towards the islands south of the continent. Ran into some turtles. Well, less ran into and more of your destination was the turtles. And had a fairly intense session of memory diving. All catching a glimpse into each other's past lives. Some discourse was had between the party before you all departed the island, taking a quick sail back towards Mithera, which was the next stop for the Amaril, the ship you were traveling with. Unfortunately, leaving Ash behind at the island per his choice. You are all welcomed back by the familiar sight of Mithera. You all have been gone from the city for about a month. Last you were here, there was an attack upon the city, leaving the once busy streets quiet. Almost felt like a ghost town after that incident. And now, re-entering the city, it's still on the quieter side. Guard patrol is still high, though not as watchful or shadowing as the guards were last you were here. But one piece of news is quickly picked up by all of you, as it is being shouted by nearly every news person or shouter on the street. That in the time you were gone, a new illness of sorts has started creeping up through the cracks. Presumably from the Soth, which is where everyone's pointing blame at, or to the continuing presence of oozes within the city. Something they've deemed necrosis. Taking out maybe dozens of people in the past week, including that of Governor Carianos, the Dragonborn man who you saw previously give a speech at the Viriline Festival. There is an air of caution throughout the city. People are tending to not form in large crowds and sort of go about their business a little more hurried, though. It seems now things are at a more calm pace. By the time you guys are here, it is nearing the afternoon. So, with that, where do you guys go first?
DM,
Yes.
could I have had a conversation with Theo prior to arriving on Mithera?
Yes, you can.
Okay. I shall approach Theo while we are still on the ship, maybe day one of traveling back to Mithera.
Yes. I will allow these conversations.
Okay. Theo, do you have a moment?
Oh yeah, what's up?
I was wondering something. You are brilliant, of course. Second to none in your pursuit of arcane knowledge. I I had Ash was working on something for me. But obviously you can't continue that pursuit as he's no longer with us. He had been working with my my firearm. He had been imbuing it with the magical properties of the dragon scales that we have been coming across. And it was rather interesting what he was able to come up with. But seeing as he's no longer with us, I was wondering if you would be willing to attempt to continue what he had been working on. I still have the Emerald Dragon Scale, and I have a vague recollection of what he had come up with the White Dragon Scale that we had, so I can maybe, assist you in picking up where he left off, though I can't guarantee my second-hand assessment of his work will be sufficient. But would you be interested in trying to imbue this Emerald Dragon Scale's magic into my firearm?
I can take a look at it.
Sure. Yes. At the very least, that's all I ask, and it could be a fun project. I know. Yeah, I know we've had our fair share of sessions of spitballing various ideas that we've had, but it would mean a lot if you would do what you can to imbue my firearm with whatever magics may reside within this Emerald Dragon Scale.
Yeah, fusions aren't really my expertise, but I'll definitely check it out.
Yeah.
See if I can fit some sleeping bullets in there too.
That would be ideal, but I appreciate it, and don't let it take up too much of your time. I know you've got some very intriguing things to focus your mind on in your mental space, but yes, whenever you have the time, please, it would mean a lot if you could do what you can, at least.
I can take a look at it now.
Sure. Yes. Here's the firearm, and you can see some of the already imbuements that are upon the firearm from Ash's previous work with the White Dragon Scale that we've had, and here, and I'll take my necklace off with the White Dragon Scale. I don't know if this will help. I don't know exactly what he did, but here's the Emerald Scale as well. Maybe you can follow the intricate arcane sigils that he has engraved upon the firearm with the White Dragon Scale. I don't know if you can compare them with whatever notes you may have on the arcane, and perhaps you'll glean a greater understanding of what he already has. I'm at a loss with whatever this is. I'm not very arcanely inclined, as you may have already gathered. So maybe it makes more sense to you. I'll give Theo whatever I have that I know of what Ash did to this firearm to imbue it with this White Dragon Scale's magic.
Okay. Theo, make an Arcana check.
Hey. I get advantage on these?
Do you get advantage on these?
I don't think so. I think I just have really high
You do.
modifier. That doesn't matter though. That's an 11.
11 total?
Yep.
Okay. You didn't pay the most attention in enchantment classes. It's not really, again, what your family did. But you are able to begin to glean what kind of the patterns are in all of the etches that are already on the firearm, and it can kind of it's a foundation. I would also say make a nature check for that scale.
Worse.
Oh no.
8.
You're a bit distracted by the beauty of this scale in itself. Almost translucent. This very beautiful, very saturated emerald sheen on it. It's almost iridescent in places as you kind of hold it up to the light. Like a very rough, though smooth, uncut emerald, but in the shape of a scale. You're not the most certain on what the properties of an emerald dragon scale are, as it's not really one that's been studied. This is the first time since acquiring it that you've looked at it up close. You might need extra assistance in knowing what these dragon scales do, where they came from.
Like Helena?
I don't know, man. That's up to you.
I'm not sure how much I can help you immediately. Enchantment's not really my area of expertise, and I've never seen an emerald dragon scale up close. And Ash's notes and runes are messy and out of date.
I see. Well, I don't want to put any pressure on you. And maybe we can brainstorm together. I mean, I do very much enjoy our late night study sessions. It's always a nice break from the chaos of the day. We can noodle it out together, and maybe when we get to Mythera, maybe we can go to the library or something and figure something out. Or maybe even maybe Helena has some insight on draconic shit. I'm not sure. All I ask is that you try, at the very least.
Of course. We'll figure it out.
Yes, I know we will. That's it for me.
All right. In the interim, before reaching Mythera, Hailstorm, was there anything you wanted to do?
Obviously continue work on the gun blade with whatever limited resources I have on this vehicle.
All right. Make another Tinker's check.
Yee. I'm not close to it. I don't even know. $24.
Holy jeez.
Damn, and I think Yeet actually adds like a +5, so.
That's true.
Who?
Yeet does add a bonus.
Who? What the fuck is yeet?
When you
Isn't
say
that what you
yeet
said?
when you throw it.
Oh yes. Oh, I was so confused. Like, who the fuck is yeet?
Yeah.
Who the
Yeet's
fuck
actually an
is Yeet?
advantage.
Who the
Actually,
fuck is
Mr. Yeet to you.
Yeah, it's Mr. Yeet. Doctor.
Doctor.
Dr. Yeet, PhD.
Correct. Yeeterism.
So, Hailstorm,
Yes.
in the few days travel that you have with the 24 and with Kit's help, you quickly finish your gunblade. By the time you land on port, you've essentially made this intricate designed longsword with a revolver or a pepper box attached to the handle.
Pretty much.
Pretty much. kind of get wild glances from Kit, who obviously very clearly wants to try it out themselves, but is for obvious reasons unable to. But after weeks of development, your gunblade is finished.
She'll sort of look at Kit for a moment. I appreciate your help.
Of course. It's beautiful. Kind of staring, like, sparkles in their eyes.
I just need to see if the damn thing works, of course. On a living target, I guess.
How are you gonna find a living target? Are you gonna kill someone?
If they deserve it. But I don't know, there's probably some mean wild animal out there somewhere that needs to die or something.
I'd hate to think of any creature at the end of this.
Well, I mean, assuming it even works.
Well, please send me a letter if it does. I would love to hear about excursions with this thing.
By all means. I will do that.
Cool.
And she will just basically sort of, there's like a latch on the gunblade itself that she sort of hooks onto the back of her collar. That sort of like back sheaths it. And that's it.
All right. Thyra, anything you're thinking or feeling or doing?
Oh, well, the last we left off with Thyra, she said some very harsh and cruel things to the rest of the party.
Mm-hmm.
So I think...
Yeah.
So I think she's kind of been keeping a low profile on this journey back. Hasn't really said much. More quiet than she is. But for like an audience point of view, I think you see camera angles and shots of her like trying to approach Felix, trying to approach Theo, but stopping herself and not committing to it. As like you have the journey travel montage going back to Mathera. And I think what a cool thematic thing would also be is probably the night before they get to Mathera, she remembers the night before they get to Mathera with Valkyra. Since that is actually where Thyra and Valkyra's story started, was on the boat to Mathera. In session 0, and having that, she has a memory of that moment, and I feel like that's like a flashback moment of, telling her sister that she is her lighthouse and her light in her life. And looking out and not seeing, I don't think she even sees the lighthouse anymore. The one that was there is turned off for the night for some odd reason. And then they dock. And she just kind of goes through the motion of following everyone and just nods when people talk to her and, gives a thankful nod to the captain and the crew for their journey. But she's been pretty quiet. That's about it.
When you land, the buildings in this afternoon sun almost glow orange with fire, but as you step further into the city, you just have that beautiful, like, golden hour streaming through between the buildings. Oh, finally, with you all here, where would you like to go first?
It's afternoon, correct?
Yes, it is about 4 p.m., almost dinner time. After a couple more days at sea, being on land is very much welcome to some of you.
Initially, just letting out like a
Big
a
sigh.
longing sigh, as the last time that we were on these docks was me saying farewell to Nadi.
That was a different city.
Oh, fuck!
It feels like it. It's
Never
fine. Last time,
mind!
the last time you
Never
were on
mind!
dock.
Last time you
period.
were on docks, getting out of a boat, you know?
Yeah, yeah, that's what I
still
meant.
works.
That's
It
what I
still works.
meant.
That's what I meant, man.
Yeah,
Obviously, that's what I meant.
Correct.
obviously.
Still works.
I guess we should go get some rooms and some dinner.
It would be nice. If we wouldn't mind, I mean, you all can continue on to the inn if you'd like. There is I need to pay a visit to Helena.
Storm will like cross her arms. Who the hell is Helena?
She was a matronly figure to me while I lived in Mathera.
Oh.
Haven't
yeah,
seen
well-
her in a bit.
By all means.
And you're all welcome, obviously, to join me. I'm sure she'd love to see you all again. But I definitely need to pay a visit to her. It's been a while.
I'll join you. I'd like to see if she has some books.
Yes. Oh, yes. And maybe she can provide insight on our little conundrum that we're having. And I'll kind of like look to the ground, but also talking towards Thyra. Thyra, you're welcome to join us as well. It shouldn't take too long.
She gives an agreeable nod. But I don't even think she's kind of paying attention to the conversation. I think she's probably looking out on the water. But she agrees to go with you.
Okay, well, sure, whatever.
All right. You'll like her, Hailstorm. She's a very interesting individual. She's got a lot of stories to tell.
Oh, I'm sure.
All right. Follow me.
And with that,
Follow him.
first stop, make your way over across the river towards a much more naturey part of the city. There are a lot more plants and foliage growing in green spaces around. The buildings aren't as tall over here, but you do find your way over to Grass's Books, to be the establishment that Helena runs. The doors open, letting in that nice evening ocean breeze. And you see behind the counter this old woman, gray hair, kind of this tan, wrinkled skin. Looks like she's seen a lot of sunny days in her past. But again, half her face and half her body is covered in these brass dragon scales with a single, almost mechanical monocle over that eye. She places down her book and looks up at you, finally. Oh, Milo, you're back. You've been gone
Helena.
for so long.
It has been some time. There is so much to tell you. And I'll
and
bring my mechanical arm up to my forehead and kind of rub my temples.
She stands up to go around the counter towards you, and then you raise up your arm, and she puts just like one fist to her mouth, sort of like a slight shock, but sympathetic. Oh, it seems you do have a lot to catch me up on. Please come in, come in. And she walks over to the front door of the establishment and closes it and turns the sign to closed and ushers you all back into the living quarters behind the bookstore.
There's been a lot, Helena. As you can clearly see, it's difficult to pinpoint where I should begin. And there's like a moment of long pause, I think, where Felix is subconsciously just pacing the room, kind of picking up random books, not even paying attention to what he's picking up, just kind of picking it up, flipping through it, just as like a way to fill the awkward silence with whatever action he can.
Helena just reaches over and grasps your hand, placing both of hers over it. Just take a deep breath, okay? Just find a place to sit, relax. I can make you some tea. I have biscuits. Just take a moment. You don't have to rush through this in any way.
Listen, Helena, you know I love you, and you know I can never repay the things that you've done for me. But I must concede and say that the anxiety that I've felt coming back here and seeing you again, knowing that your past is still somewhat shrouded in mystery for me, but I know that you've been around for a long time, and this isn't a poke at your age. You are looking as dashing as ever. But I've learned a lot of things, Helena, about myself. And I can't help but assume that you've been well ingrained in the goings-on of the world. I want to ask you, as a friend, not even as a friend, as someone who I would view as family, Helena. As I've said, I've learned a lot about myself and my family. My real family, Helena. And who I am. Did you know? Did you have even the slightest idea of who I was. Please, just be honest with me. Did you know?
I did not know. What have you learned?
And even after she said that, I'm giving her the longest, most insightful look that I can.
Yeah, let's take an insight check.
Make an insight check.
Okay. Ooh, not great.
First, roll back in it, guys.
Not good. It's not
Back
good. It's not good. It's not good.
in
Insight.
I
Ooh,
think
that's
hers-
only 5.
Yeah. She's
Uh,
telling you the most truthful truth you've ever heard.
Thyra is very surprising. Thyra is a 19 straight because she can't add anything to it, but I rolled a natural 19.
Wow. Thyra, you also believe her.
I figured.
Yes.
All right. Well,
I think for sorry, Nico, but for
No.
like thematic stuff, Thyra is in the back perusing, but her ears are like strictly open, and you see her just kind of give like a sideward glance at every question and just kind of watching from the background.
Theo is also perusing, but she's not paying attention.
Love Theo.
And after like studying her for like, like 5 or 6 seconds of maybe silence and just nodding at her response, for the sake of brevity, I will go into talking about discovering Nadi in that town that I am forgetting to remember the name of. I'll go into learning about my past, the dreams that I've had, uncovering my family, the events that happened in Tin, why my arm is blown off, my encounter with my dad. I will take the time
To cast
to
exposition.
to cast exposition on Helena.
She takes a moment to process it all as you're saying it. Just giving you her full attention.
And definitely mentioning Nightshade, because maybe she's heard of Nightshade in the past.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you mention Valkyra?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I mentioned how. Yes. I go into how I fucking died, but was brought back due to a heroic sacrifice. I leave out the drugs and alcohol.
Of course.
Of course. Do you correct her in saying Milo?
Yes. 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 I inform her that my true name is Felix.
I am so sorry you had to go through all of that. It is it's a lot. I'm sorry it was so full of darkness for you. I do feel like I should have been more insightful into everything.
Were you aware of Nightshade prior to me mentioning them?
Oh. Decades ago, yes. I was unaware of the current dealings. passed some 30 years ago. But yes, I know of Nightshade. Quite familiar with the one of the founders. We ran in the same circles, and word got back to me on a few things later down the road. But I should have put it all together with the incident some years ago in Waycrest. It was all over the news. I'm so sorry, Felix.
Still trying to figure everything out. But again, I appreciate your the hospitality you've provided me over the past several months before I parted ways. But you've always told me to spread my wings and find my people.
Mm.
Well, I certainly have.
I'm glad.
But I ask you to use whatever connections you have, favors that still need to be called upon, if you are willing. And it's all right if it takes time. I'm not. While I crave immediacy, I understand that it's not realistic. But if you can, I need to know where Ostroth is, what he's working on.
Well, I may not have any immediate current information. I am aware of Osteroth. Again, running in circles back in the day kind of made me familiar with a lot of the high rollers, the up-and-comings, if you will. From what I've known, he's pretty much always been in tin, save his former years. He's from the mainland empire across the sea, but was sent over here for some reason pertaining to his work. Probably just trying to get out of the watchful eye of the sovereign. Yeah, he's always been a keen engineer. That's for sure.
I'm sure. I'm sure he has.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate any assistance you can provide in that manner. I also, unrelated to my situation, Theo actually had an interesting inquiry about some certain things, and adjacently, I more or less do as well. But Theo is working on something for me, and I'll kind of look for where Theo is.
Theo's during this conversation, Theo's been looking for books on the Soth and like the history of it, and also like enchantment books.
Okay, Make an investigation check as you peruse her collections.
I just can't roll above a 3 today.
Oh no.
Um, that is another 11.
An 11? Okay. You don't find much in terms of books on enchantment. This seems to just be a normal bookstore. No real magical books seem to be sold, or at least aren't out for display. But you do find a few books on the Soth. Although they may not be history books, you do find horror stories
Oh God.
based around events in the
creepypastas.
Soth. Yes, you
Love
find 2. Found one called Whispers of the Mist. And a second, Disruption of Twilight. And quickly flipping through and reading the synopses of these, mostly based in fiction, based off what you can tell. Though, they might have something locals know that you don't.
I'll take them.
She doesn't charge you for them.
I'll go up to her and I'll say, well, Felix was working on trying to enchant his firearm. And, well, I was going to try help him, but I'm not entirely sure how.
What were you trying to do? What's the, based on?
Well, an emerald dragon scale.
A dragon scale? Let me have a look.
We produce the Emerald Dragon Scale.
Alright. She looks it over. You see her wave her hand in the air a few times. A few slight geometric patterns appear before her. And she... Well... Yes, this is an Emerald Dragon Scale. Emerald Dragon Scales, if you are unaware, possess a sort of psionic element to them, as do Emerald Dragons. Though I don't know who this belongs to, or who it may have belonged to. I could definitely help you where I can. I'm not the most adept enchanter, but could help you noodle out some framework.
I'd appreciate that.
Yes. And you're of the university, right?
I am.
Oh, there's plenty of professors over there too that could do this in a day. Whatever you're trying to extract from these.
Wait, you said you weren't sure which dragon this came from. Does that mean you know dragons? By name?
Good point.
Oh, I do know of dragons. Yes.
So, where are they? Why don't we see dragons anymore?
Well, if it's a long history of dragons and their subsequent near extinction. So if you were unaware, I'll give you a quick history lesson. During the war, dragons were hunted for sport by fiends and other worldly creatures. They were poached for the scales and bones. So many of them died out, save a few. Those are the ones that I'm familiar with. And they're not easy to find, that's for sure.
What about sea serpents?
Sea serpents?
I
only heard of them. I haven't seen any in my travels.
Do you have anything on legends of them?
Legends of serpents. Well, some believe sea serpents they are related to modern dragons. Sort of a different evolutionary path that made them more adept to the water, shed their wings, that sort of thing. There are a few sort of Kraken-esque tales of them destroying boats deep out at sea, and I believe one that I've heard, maybe you should have heard of it, considering you're more of a northern type. Icy dragons, or icy serpents, at least, sort of circling the waters around Freya. I don't know what they mean, but I've heard of them.
You have a book on specifically that? Freyan ice serpents?
I don't know if I do, unfortunately. It's not a very common subject.
No. Probably not.
But why were you interested in finding... Were you interested in finding the dragons that I know of?
Well, it would be awe-inspiring to see dragons again. But I've just been interested in the power that they possess and what they perhaps inspired in people. Ash, who you've seen before, is no longer part of our group. He decided to stay behind, but he was able to harness their power into an enchantment on my firearm, and I was... Theo and I were just looking to continue his work, is all.
But if you personally know dragons, I wouldn't be opposed to meeting them.
As I'm
So-
definitely interested in your storied history as well.
Well, the dragon singular that I am personally acquainted with is not one you would really want to hang out with or meet or sort of learn anything from. She's a bit of a bitch, to put it lightly.
That is a lot coming from you.
You're correct about that. Aurelos the Stringent in Woeston. She's kind of how I am like this. Kind of my maker, so to speak.
Can I get the name of that again?
Aurelos the Stringent.
Ari?
Ari?
Ari lost? That's a W. Whenever Ari loses, that's a win.
All right. That's enough yapping.
But
What does stringent mean?
she's a bit greedy.
Oh, a bitch?
Yes, and a bitch. She doesn't like to give so much as take.
Where did you say she is?
Woeston.
A bitch.
Well, a bitch in Woeston. Yes. In the desert. She was part of a alliance of sorts between dragons during the war, called the Defying Flight. They were unified against poachers and predators. Some managed to survive the war and still live to this day, including her. Yes. Do I particularly remember the rest of the flight? No, because I was too busy not listening to her. But if you were really that keen on finding them, I would say not finding them is preferred to talking to Aurelos.
Right, we will definitely not go looking. And I'll look at Theo with like a, yeah, we're gonna go find out.
Well,
We'll definitely stay away from her.
that would likely be the best. But if you ever see a walking, talking brass asshole, stick there. Outside of me, there's
Right.
another, more brass, actually.
Thank you, Helena.
Of course.
I hope you know that I do sincerely appreciate everything that you've done for not only me, but even my friends here. It's been an interesting few months.
I can tell.
I don't know how long we'll be in this city, but we are about to head over to find some lodging for the night, but I'll be sure to see you again before we, I assume, eventually depart.
Well, I look forward to seeing you again. If there's anything you will need from me, don't hesitate to come back and ask.
Thank you.
Of course. Did you need any money before you go?
Boy. I don't think I have fucking any money, to be honest.
Take the
Do you
money.
need any snacks?
Take the money.
Oh, I will very gladly take some snacks. I mean, I suppose if...
I'll take the money.
I would hate to ask for more from you, Helena, but if you are willing, who am I to deny such a gracious donation?
Oh, of course.
Ooh.
First, she packs up some biscuits. These are like a cinnamon clove, sort of almost gingerbready cookies. Packs them up for you, hands them over, and then reaches into just one of the kitchen drawers and pulls out a little pouch and sets it on the counter for you. You hear a little jingle inside.
Jingle, jingle.
Thank
It's 50
you.
gold.
Oh, nice.
That's a health potion.
That's alcohol.
No.
That's alcohol and drugs.
No.
Let's
Same
go.
difference.
So
Let's
weird.
go.
Oh,
Difference.
Healing
wow.
potion. I call this one the healing potion.
That's a night at the brothel. Let's go. Excellent.
Yes.
Nothing else. Nothing else from me from the scene.
Really quick, do you know where the nearest workshop is?
The nearest workshop. I think there's a
Oh, and-
blacksmith down the road.
That should probably work.
Something else.
Nope.
All right. And looks over at you, Thyra, expectedly.
Ugh. No, I don't know. I think she just gives a polite nod and heads out after everyone else.
Kind of waves as you all leave.
Wave back.
But now what?
I believe we are finding some sleeping places.
Well, you know of one.
We'll go there.
Wonderful. In a very whimsical sort of full circle moment, you all end up back at the Ramblers Inn, where this whole shit show began. The place has cleaned up very nicely. It's completely refurbished from what it was before. Last you saw it was a disintegrating, stinky mess from the oozes. But it's been tidied up better than ever. Skeleton half hanging from the ceiling because the other half has melted.
Yeah, right. My bad.
Whoops.
All right, place.
But
I suppose it'll do.
Yes, new to you, Hailstorm. 2-story inn, almost cottagey on the inside, like a cozy log cabin, but with a nautical twist on it. You look up, and astonishingly, there is half of a plesiosaur skeleton hanging from the ceiling. Not sure why the head half of it is missing, but there is a tail. But you see Marlin behind the counter, tending to some patrons. This human man with reddish brown hair, beard, nasty scar across the lip. Addresses you all as you enter.
It's money. I don't have money. Well, I guess. How much
Yes,
for a
we're
room?
just we're just looking for a few rooms for the night.
A few rooms. For one room, it is 5 silver piece a night. So
What do we
2 rooms for the 4 of you
2
would be
rooms.
1 gold piece a night.
Right. I don't know how long we're planning to stay in Mathera, so we'll just play. We'll pay per night. So 1 gold.
Pay 30.
That'll come out of the Helena fund.
The Helena fund. It's a loan of $1 million.
He takes the gold piece, and with your night stay, you get complimentary dinner, plus a
There you
drink.
go. Hey, a drink?
A drink.
A singular
I was
drink?
spending some money on drinks.
You get 1 with dinner. So you guys are able to feast up at your pleasure. It's still only about like 5:30 in the evening.
Yeah, Hailstorm was gonna go look for that forge.
All right. Find your way over to Black Mantle's. You've never been in this shop before,
Correct.
but there's this almost kid half dwarf behind the counter.
Oh, I remember this fucking place.
Yes, you
Me, the
do.
person. Oh,
What can I do for ya?
I have a remarkably strange request. As a fellow enjoyer of all things smithing and crafting and such, I really, really could use a forge. Like, I need to utilize a forge. It pertains to this, and she will draw the gun blade.
The kid's
sort of-
eyes widen immediately. What is that?
Exactly. Yeah. So I need a forge so I can finalize some things and create a few things that'll help really bring it all together. It's basically a blade that harnesses the power of firearms, or I guess just a gunpowder explosive.
What is that?
It's a blade and a gun, all in one. A gun blade.
What's a gun?
Oh.
Explaining that one.
Without getting super technical, I cast exposition on how a gun works because that would be a really long conversation.
He like slow blinks and does not absorb any of what you just said.
Do you run this place? You're a bit young.
No, this is my dad's business.
And where is your father?
Out on business.
I hate you.
The boy answered.
You did. I see. So anyway, I really just could utilize your forge very quickly. I wouldn't actually be using any of your materials. It'd all be mine. I just need the physical forge itself.
Like he puts his hands on the counter in front of you and like looks side to side suspiciously. And then leans in closer to you. Are you trustworthy?
Yes.
Looks side to side again. Okay,
Awesome.
back here.
Yep, awesome.
He pulls back the curtain into the back room, and you do see a workshop. There's an anvil, there's a forge in the very far corner. It smells very much of like chemicals and oil back here. But there is some space left on the countertops to work on it.
So basically what she's going to attempt to create is somewhat of a harness per se. It's more of like a belt.
Okay.
Belt harness thing that what she's attempting to create is the ammunition itself. She is attempting to, so as she is sort of forging this iron into cylinder-like shapes, with a cap on the end to actually ignite what's inside of it. She's sort of doing that all together, and using some leather and stuff to sort of bind it all together. It's basically attempting to create what will actually hold the charges of the gunblade.
Oh, you're just like a... Yeah. No,
Yes.
yeah, I get what you're saying. You're far too intelligent, and this is way below your skill level, creating like a strap to hold your ammo. Easy enough to do.
Creates this cool tactical belt thing, I guess.
Like Rambo. Just like,
correct.
yeah.
And sort of on every side of it are just these little small cylinder capsules, filled with electricity from her gauntlet and such, as other materials and such are sort of shoved in there.
This kid, not even paying attention to the front door, is just in awe. Similar to how Kit was acting, except this kid knows nothing and
Correct.
is just confused and amazed. As you sort of harness that lightning into the charge as this part of this mechanism that you've been working on for weeks and weeks and weeks.
And she will... Okay, ready? Sort of turn, and she will grab a munition that she just created, which sort of, as she clicks it, it sort of opens into 6 cylinders, almost like an actual revolver would. 6 little baby cylinders, as she takes the gunblade and clicks out the cylinder, where that is empty, and sort of and places in the ammo before flicking the cylinder shut, as the blade sort of glows with the electricity as it basically comes alive.
You snap it closed and little sparks of lightning dance across the blade for a sec. The kid is like stood back against another table across from you and is still wide-eyed.
Smart. I do need a test subject.
Just gonna shoot the kid.
Just shoot the child.
Jesus, what?
Shoot the child.
Are you a wizard?
Oh God, no! Don't insult me like that.
Oh, sorry.
Fine. I actually use my brain for practical things and not just weird magic stuff that has no bearing.
Wow.
None of you are here.
That's true.
Well, I would love to test it here, but it would probably create a lot of noise and also blow stuff up. So.
Yeah, don't blow up my dad's shop, please.
Yeah, I wasn't going to.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your assistance and allowing me to do this.
Yeah. You're not gonna tell my dad about this, right?
Of course not, unless he asks.
He
Well, then I'll-
flushes immediately.
Then I'll tell him everything. Look, I'll just say that I broke in. How about that?
Deal.
Awesome. Great. She will extend her hand awkwardly to shake a child's hand.
He just as awkwardly reaches out for your hand. Shakes it. It's a little clammy.
And she will sheath the gun blade and leave.
You just leave this kid dumbstruck over what you just did.
Correct.
With the
without
ammo.
without paying any gold or anything. Tips aren't real.
He was about to downcharge Valkyra like 200 gold for an
He
item.
was. He
So.
was. Get fucked.
Right. You depart. By the time you leave, it is dark.
Well, she will head back to the inn and find Felix probably dead from an overdose.
Oh
Felix,
yeah.
are you dead from an overdose?
Yes. I've been drinking.
Okay.
I walk in on Felix.
How many drinks did you drink?
Enough to be not wasted.
Okay.
But I'm freshly
buzzed.
Like freshly drunk.
Freshly drunk.
Like maybe on the cusp of being drunk. I'm definitely tipsy.
Okay. So that would be like 5 silver piece worth of alcohol.
Gotcha.
Drinks.
I'll write that down because I can't access D&D Beyond right now because D&D Beyond hates ad blockers.
Wonderful. We love D&D Beyond.
Is everyone in there? Is everyone just chilling?
Yeah. Unless anybody else wanted to do anything in this time that Hailstorm was away tinkering.
Probably reading one of the books, Whispers of the Mist.
Whispers of the Mist. Okay. Whispers of the Mist, you find out, is about just that, a fog that rolls into town that sort of fills up the South in its entirety. This gray, almost purple mist that smells of almost of decay, like you've witnessed in the South. But basically, this mist imbues people with paranoia and makes them see visions of creatures within it and hear voices of dead loved ones emanating from within the mist. It's pretty gripping. But in terms of new information learned from it, it piques your interest in the fact that it talks about the dead within the city and potential communing with the dead to solve this heroine's problems or to solve the mystery behind the mist within the book.
When Hailstorm walks in, Theo's just like fully engaged and like visibly like reading this book.
Theo looks like the nerd at the function who is
Correct.
not partaking in the drinking,
Yep.
just in the corner.
Socially awkward.
I imagine she's like reading like different like plot twists or something to Felix, and he's just like, oh wow, yeah, that's very cool.
Takes another shot.
Very cool, Theo.
Oh, you guys have moved a lot.
Mm-hmm.
She'll sort of look down at the drink.
He is very visibly
How many?
inebriated. Like his face is all flushed and red.
Just got here.
What's Thyra been doing?
I think she's at the table with you guys. But I think she's probably looking at some charts, but every time you order a new drink, she just stares at you for a second and then goes back to what she's doing.
I hate you.
Very talkative night.
It is. I feel like stretching my legs a bit. I'm gonna swoop up my drink that I still have. Hailstorm, join me outside.
Sure.
Wonderful. Be right back.
Hailstorm looks back towards everyone else and has a singular eyebrow raised, like a little confused.
Thyra gives you a shrug.
Theo's still in her boat. She didn't see it.
Yeah.
All right, I'm in. I'm going.
Step outside. Drink in hand. Tankard in hand. Listen, Hailstorm, I know we haven't really talked much since the island. You strike me as someone who's, willing to go along with things.
Willing
Just
to go along with
purely
things.
out of curiosity.
I either love or hate where this is going.
I'm gonna take a look at my drink, kind of swirl it around a bit, chug whatever remainder was in the cup, and toss the cup aside onto the ground.
Bruh.
I've got some halflings I need to talk to.
Some halflings you need to talk to. Does this include intimidation? Is that why you're taking me with you?
Depends. Depends on how much they're willing to talk.
Well, I do need to test out this new thing. So, fuck it. Let's go intimidate some halflings.
That's what I wanted to hear.
What the fuck?
And I'm gonna start walking.
Hailstorm will very awkwardly follow, kind of intrigued.
All right. You get led through a good portion of the city until you land upon a bakery. Sort of unassuming. Looks pretty closed down for the night.
Just gonna start knocking on the door politely at first.
Mm-hmm.
You have dealings with a bakery?
It's a long story. You'll pick up the pieces as this progresses.
Oh no.
All right. Eventually, after a good minute of knocking, you see this halfling man sort of descend the stairs at the very back of the room, just scratching his head and then notices you too outside the door. Walks over with a lit lantern and unlocks the front door, peeks through. Hey, is there something that I can do for you?
Oh, there certainly is, I do believe. Do you remember me? And I'll already kind of welcome myself in, kind of pushing past and entering the establishment.
Storm walks in with him.
Hello. I do. You're that Milo fellow, right? You got our cart back for us?
Sure did. There was, I mean, you're welcome for that, of course. Saved you a great deal of a headache, I think.
Yeah. Sort of closes the door behind you as you enter. I'm sorry, you seem a little upset. Was there something that we did or didn't do for you?
Oh, no. No. There was nothing upsetting. Though there was something interesting, I think, that we've already established about what we saved for you.
You mean the Mycos?
Precisely. Now, I was just thinking, I was rather curious, actually, to be precise. Where did you acquire this Mycos?
Oh, we get it. Oh, yes.
Do I know what Mycos is?
Roll a history check.
17 plus a billion.
You do know what Mycos is. When he mentions Mycos, you assume Mycos Hypnos, which is a pretty common, sort of medicinally used, medicinally used hypnotic,
Sleep bullets.
Yes.
From the hills. You in particular would be familiar with the fact that it has been used within the new and improved Nightshade. But Keely explains. We get it from the hills. We have it imported from Mycoshire, aptly named, I know. They farm it in the hills out there in little burrows. It's the only place it really grows.
It's interesting. Why the subtlety? Why try to hide it? Why hide it within your grains?
Well, we don't want people to steal it when we're out moving it, I guess.
Sure.
It's not banned within the city. We have no reason to really hide it from the guards. We certainly don't want it spotted out on the road.
Are you you selling it to anyone?
Just our usual customers around here, mostly natives from the hills, our fellow halfling folk.
Right, of course. What about outside the city?
No one I can think of that's coming in from out of the city to buy our infused goods?
Insight check.
Make an insight check.
Is this going to be at disadvantage because I'm a little
Yes,
cooked?
it is, sir.
Okay, well, neither of those were good anyways. 7.
Can't read him. For all you know, he's telling the truth.
Right. You see, that's not going to do. I'm going to pull out my firearm.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Bro.
Hey, it would be beneficial for you to explain what's happened so
Yes.
I may provide insight if I have any.
Hailstorm
That's
is
a-
going to very slowly slide in front of the door and block it. Very slowly.
Make a stealth check if you're trying to settle it subtly.
Guys, we just got back.
Dirty 20.
Okay. Does not notice he's staring at the gun
Yep.
and at Felix.
And I'm just going to take a step forward, kind of bringing my face into the light of whatever lantern or candle he might be holding. I feel like you were under the impression that I was asking. No,
Oh boy.
I'm not asking.
Oh boy.
Where is your supply going? Inside, outside the city?
Make an intimidation check. With disadvantage. Would be a straight roll at this point.
Okay.
How
Oh,
A
about-
straight roll.
sweet. That's real high. That is real high. 26.
Oh god!
Bitch.
You see this poor little halfling man sort of take a step back. Hands begin to shake. I really that's it. It's only going to people we know, people on the block. I swear, no one that I know of that's leaving the city with our products. I swear to you.
That's an interesting story that you're telling. Now, if it's true, tell me then, if you wish to see the sun tomorrow, surely a businessman such as yourself knows maybe others that might be in the market for such an item or might be selling it. And it would be so wonderful if you could point me in the direction of potential competitors of this Mycos.
I can only tell you who I get it from. I know no one else that buys from them personally.
Oh, please. You've got to have written records.
Not of other people buying from my supplier.
Oh, come on then, don't be shy.
I get it from it's a family. The Lion Hands, they deal with all of this. They're who I buy from. They're all family friends.
You ever heard of that?
Can't say I have, but that is intriguing. And where, since you're being so generous, where might I find them?
In Mycoshire. Like I said, that's the only place on the continent that they grow it. I swear.
All right. I think that's adequate information. Been so generous. And I'll kind of step back from the the candlelight and reholster my firearm. I appreciate your cooperation, truly.
Just stares back at you. You see him visibly sweating.
Let's just hope I don't have to come back here. Right.
Please don't.
I surely hope I don't have to. I think we're done here, Hailstorm.
Okay. It's just sort of chuckled to herself and opened the door.
Do your best to have a good night.
Doesn't say anything, just waiting for you to leave.
I'll just give him a long look before trying to catch myself stumbling out.
As soon as you step out, you hear a click as he locks the door and just disappears back into the establishment.
Okay, first and foremost, that was fun. Second of all, what the fuck shit was that? What was that all about? The fuck did he do?
He didn't do anything. He had information that I needed, and I got it.
What did that drug do? What does that drug... I mean, I know what it does, but what did it do to you? Specifically.
It's a bit of a long story. But there was a that job that went so south.
Right.
There was some information about an Operation Hypnos.
Ah.
And there was a letter that I had that's no longer on my person. It was given to a close friend. It talked of an Initiative H and words of difficulty falling asleep and pictures of my firearm and such, and in Initiative H, Operation Hypnos, this drug, Mycos Hypnos, trying to find its source. I'm just following very loose leads right now. And I'm tired, I'm angry. And I'm clearly not of the right mind right now, but...
None of us are. She sort of just playfully shrugs.
I needed answers.
Yeah, no,
And-
completely understandable.
Sometimes you need to let the monster out.
I'm a little disappointed. I really need to get testing this thing. But it's fine. I guess brutal murder the first night we're back maybe isn't the best idea.
Probably not.
But still, that was fun.
Right. Very fun.
Did I do good? The door, they look intimidating in the back of the door, you know, it's just sort of in the way, arms crossed, you know, I got the whole... I think it's
Did.
good.
You did.
Great. Awesome. Fantastic. We should go back. Are you going to be able to carry yourself? Like, can you walk without collapsing?
That remains to be seen.
Make a
Let's go.
dexterity check
Okay.
with disadvantage.
Oh man, that first one was real. Oh wow, those both are actually aren't too bad. Dexterity. Oh. 19.
He's a little wobbly, but he can walk. May not be going the right direction, but he can
Yeah.
walk.
Hey, Felix. Other way.
Yes.
Yep, that way.
Right. And I feel like I can't help but, like, on our way back, kind of replaying that whole interaction in my head. Can't help but shake the feeling in my inebriated state, kind of feeling that on my periphery, that red smoke kind of creeping itself back in.
Yacht.
But nothing else on our way back from me.
So like an angry cat on a tightrope followed by a golden retriever, you make your way back to the inn.
I'm glad I've been labeled as the golden retriever. Yeah, we walk back into the inn.
Theo likely still engulfed in the literature. Thyra, was there anything in particular you wanted to do while the others were out?
I think as they turn the corner to get back to the street where the inn is, Thyra is sitting on the stoop with the empty tankard that Felix had thrown in her hand. And just kind of raises an eyebrow as you guys approach.
The Scotty on her lap acknowledges you guys as well.
That's a long bit of fresh air.
Yes, it was very needed. Oh, you found my tankard. Wonderful. And I'll, like, reach to grab it from Thyra.
She pulls it away. We need to talk.
Ooh.
And without any acknowledgement to you, Hailstorm, she simply stands up with the tankard and goes inside. But you see Scotty still looking at you with like a head tilt, and then follows up to Thyra.
By we, did she mean we, or by we, did she mean you and her?
I'm still trying to decipher that.
Great. Well, this has been boiling for however long it took to get here on the boat, so good luck. And she'll pat you on the shoulder and sort of waltz in.
Right. I'll walk in.
Threatened.
You see her going up the stairs, and before she follows up, she gives you a follow me and goes upstairs to the rooms.
And in a completely dramatic look, he's going to look towards Hailstorm and Theo as if for the last time.
I will simply, Hailstorm, you see Hailstorm simply put her hands together in a pray and lower her head towards you.
I look towards Theo. Is Theo still very much ingrained in her book?
I think she'll look up for a second. Just give you a little wave.
I'll give a little meek wave back before ascending the stairs in pursuit of my downfall.
Correct.
Ooh, okay, this is cool. I just remembered that. Okay, so as you entered the room that she left the door cracked open, It is, for an audience point of view, a very familiar scene with Thyra sitting on the windowsill, with the moonlight coming in and giving her that halo effect around her, the moonlit glow. Felix didn't see this, and no one else did, but a party member did see this side of Thyra. As the only difference is there is now a small Arctic fox sitting next to her on the windowsill. And she's still holding the tankard. You can come in.
All right. You say that, but I still don't feel welcome.
I promise I'm not going to hurt you.
Any more than you already have.
You're the one to talk.
Well, I'm tired of talking then. Spit it out.
Fine. I wanted to say I was sorry. I'm not good at this sort of thing. Alright. I lashed out at you. And Ash and Theo. Because that's what I do when I'm scared and hurt. I said things that were harsh and cruel. And I should have let out my anger in a way that was not that. But that doesn't mean what I said wasn't true. I blame you for Valkyra's death. But I also blame myself. And her for her stupid selfishness. But this, and she holds up the tankard. This is not how you should repay that debt you owe her. I heard you at that grave. You said you wouldn't waste your life. And that's all I've seen you've done. Either at the bottom of a cup or at the end of a pipe. You're allowed to explore the vices and sins in your life as much as you want. But the only reason that heart of yours is beaten is because it's not your blood that's running through your veins right now. It's not your breath that's in your lungs. You want me to find a new life. I'm trying. But you sure as hell are not.
And what would you have me do, Thyra? What would you have me do? Knowing that the only reason that I'm alive right now, standing here looking at you, is because someone gave their life for me. Do you understand what that feels like? That man, that boy that we saw, that you met in the blizzards of Freya. Imagine that man gave his life so you could be standing here right now. How would you feel bearing that weight? Someone gave their life for yours. How would you feel? That crushing feeling. And myself knowing that I'm not worthy to be standing here right now, knowing the sacrifice that that person made. Having you look at me the way that you do every day as a reminder of that. I shouldn't be here. When you look at me, you should be looking at Valkyra. Not me.
But she's not the one that's standing in front of me, Felix. And I do know that feeling. He did save me. He gave me hope that I could have a life. And I couldn't save him. And I can tell you it doesn't work to cut yourself from the world. To take away your heart. 'Cause that's what I've done, Felix. For the last years of my life. I haven't given a damn about the world. And do you see me as a happy person?
No.
So, we're both still trying to figure out how to live. Finnick was my light, and Kira was my world. And they're gone.
And I can't help but feel the immense weight on top of everything else. The guilt that I feel for taking that from you. I'm sorry, Thyra. I didn't ask for this. I'm sorry that she was taken from you. And there's not a day that goes by where I am not questioning why she made that decision.
'Cause she thought you had a lot more life to live. 'Cause she doesn't think about herself. That's who she is.
Maybe she can see the mistake that she's made, and maybe she can take it back. Valkyra, please. Take it back. Take me back. This isn't right. Just take me back, Valkyra. I'm not worth it. I just kind of stumble in the room.
As you stumble, Thyra catches you. You are Felix. I know my anger may think otherwise, and when it was fresh, yeah, I couldn't look you in the eye. It's still hard. But we can't change what has happened. As much as we wish we could. You still have a goal, Felix. You have a family out there somewhere. She gave you a chance to save him. So put the cup down and save them.
There's only so much I can do.
You failed last time, yes. But now we know. And we're going to learn, and we're going to do better. I did say it was a trap, but I didn't stop you from going in that building, so the fault is just as plain as mine as it is yours. So next time, it will be them who be playing into our hand. Alright?
I'll try to believe what you're saying.
I know it's hard to believe it, because truthfully, I don't believe it either. But that doesn't mean we can't try. Kiara wanted to see us happy. I don't know how to be that. But I'm gonna try. And I'm gonna help you try.
I'm going to need it. I don't know how much more trying I have left.
take it from someone that hasn't wanted to be alive for a long time. You just have to do it. I don't have the answers, Felix. But I can be your friend.
I think he just gives you a look of confusion, as in like how the fuck are you saying these things, given everything? Like, how? How can you be saying these things? He's just like in disbelief.
I think Scotty patters up and starts to nuzzle the side of you.
Well, Scotty patters up with something in her mouth.
Oh! Scotty! I'll look at it.
You see a
Do you have
emerald,
hands?
like a forest green hair tie, a ribbon. Familiar to you, Thyra. To be Kira's hairpiece.
I figured.
Yeah.
Leah doesn't remember it. Sorry, Ethan, but Sakura would. Absolutely.
How dare you forget?
Um, I think Thyra picks it up and holds back a tear and goes and to the side of Felix and starts to braid a chunk of his hair. Just silencing. And then just ties it off with the emerald ribbon. You know, you remind me a lot of Finnick. He had the same kindness as you do. And now, as he finishes it, I think it's like a Padawan braid, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
In the
yeah.
back, you know what I mean? She finally like goes to the front of you and like holds the braid in her hand. And not only do you remind me of him, but now I see the fire that she had in you. You are her torch. You're a light bearer, Felix. Don't let it die out, please. As her sister, keep it alive. Keep it going.
want so desperately to promise you that I can. I don't... I can't guarantee that I have it in me to carry it out. But I can try.
But how about we make a deal? We help each other take the next step. You got me out of that frozen room back in Theo's home. I'll help you with this. And she nods her head over to the tankard. And we'll go from there.
Just nod slowly. All right. I'll try.
And I think she gives you a kiss on the forehead at that promise.
Felix can't help, even in his inebriated state, accepting it, but can't help but feel that it was partially for Felix, but also partially for Valkyra as well.
And Thyra stands up, and I think Scotty walks around you in a circle. Pads around, pat. I'm gonna go back down. I'll see you in the morning.
I'll see you in the morning. I'm sure Theo is desperate to talk about the book that she's reading.
Yeah, great thing about being a quiet observer. You have a lot of time to just...
Listen.
Yeah. And she starts to walk out and starts to close the door. Good night, Felix.
I'll see you in the morning.
And she closed the door, but you look down and Scotty is still with you. He just gives a little...
I think I need to pass out. This is Thyra's room. I don't care. I'll pass out on the bed.
And that's where we can take a quick break.
All right.
2 hours, guys. We made so much progress.
Be right back.
We're still on the same day.
It's
same
the end
day.
of the day, though. It's the end of the
That's
day.
true.
Day.
Well, we
made
got
it
here
to-
late afternoon, but
You did, but it was a very eventful evening.
Okay, listen. I
We
was
also haven't played
expecting-
in 3 months. So
I
we
wasn't
needed to get
expecting
it out.
Grand Theft Bakery, okay? I was like, whoa.
Grand Theft Halfling.
Yes, Grand Theft Halfling.
That's
Jeez
like, I don't know
Louise.
if Grand Theft Halfling, I don't know if that's grand.
Sure. Morning comes. Everyone wakes up in their respective rooms. Of course, each of you have had to share with at least one more other person. But it's a calm morning. A familiar scent of breakfast wafts through, sort of gently rousing you all from your sleep.
I think Felix yours is not so gently as like Scotty is like pulling
Oh,
at the
God.
braid. Going "Arr."
Ugh. What is it, like 4 in the morning? But the sun's not even up. As I'm like shielding my eyes from the sun peeking through the window. All right. Yes, good dog. I'm up. And I'll ready myself, the pounding headache, to head down for some breakfast, kind of scooping Scotty up with one arm. Heading downstairs for breakfast.
I will as well, Hailstorm.
As we all convene for breakfast, I'll say to Hailstorm. So, you haven't been in this city before, right?
No, I have not.
So you don't know about the Soth.
I assume you're going to tell me about it right now.
Well, it's this city under the city. It's really old. We went down there to fight some oozes, slimes, creatures. But besides the danger, it's actually really interesting. I think you'd like it down there.
Are you asking me to come with you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. Okay. She'll give a thumbs up. Why, though? I guess I should ask. Before I follow another person. She just looks at Felix.
Well, there's a lot of pre-war artifacts and architecture and
Yeah, okay. You just wanna find things?
like to explore it more.
Sure, okay.
Felix and Thyra, if you want to come too.
I've
Sure.
got nothing else. Nothing else on the docket today. Except some fucking water or something, food, sustenance. My head hurts so bad.
And it's if on cue, Thyra like slides over water to you.
Start drinking it. It's fucking like vodka or something. Ah, yes. To the south.
I might have a way to help clear your head. Not the most comfortable.
do you mean? How so? Pray tell.
It's pretty cold.
What are you gonna do? Freeze my head?
Not entirely, no.
Oh. Half. Half my head.
More, and she takes both of her hands, and you see that they're frosty.
I still don't know what you're going to do.
Just... Well, she'll stand up and walk up behind you. Take a breath.
Theo, if I die, you can have my gun. And I'll take a deep breath.
And as you take the breath, she's going to, like, on either side of your face with her frozen hands, slap your cheeks.
Oh!
And hold them there. For like 5-10 seconds, and then let go. That's like a shock of cold.
Yeah, almost like a cold compress. Not quite to a brain freeze level, but enough to cool off all the warmth that's been accumulating around your ears and neck.
Oh, fuck. That's cold. Whew. Yep. That'll do it. Totally 100% now.
Did that health or make it worse?
Ask me again in 10 minutes.
Alright.
I can do it again in 10 minutes.
Nope. I think once is enough. More than enough. Theo, lead the way.
There's no time left to lose. There might be some ghosts.
What?
That's what the book said anyway. I'll get up and I'll head to the basement.
Yes.
I'll go to the basement.
That's right, there's an entrance right fucking here.
Yeah, right here.
Yep, there is. It's in the cellar. You politely ask the employees to let you down there, and they gladly do, as continued payment for saving the entirety of the inn from an infestation. And head back through the familiar storeroom and through the once broken, now fixed door that led into the South proper. You traverse the familiar pathway. For you, Hailstorm, this is a new environment. A very humid undercity, smelling slightly of like that sea salt that leaks in through the cracks sometimes. But also, as you venture through certain areas, a distinct, though distant, smell of decay. Not terrible at the moment, but this is a new sight to the rest of you. The South has significantly more people in it.
Oh boy.
Oh.
Yes. Everyone, make a perception or investigation check as you wander through.
Well, to be fair,
Ooh.
more people equals more bodies. 13.
Okay, that's better.
Why won't you open?
Is perception or what?
Or perception or investigation.
It won't let me open my
Perception
character
is
sheet.
a natural
Oh.
20 for a 25.
Oh, shit.
I also got a 25.
Oh, shit.
Wow. Thyra,
motherfuckers.
you are adding. It's 0 for both, so it's straight roll.
Hey, look at that.
Barbarians.
Cat.
Cack.
Ah, that's a natural 18. Wow.
Wow. All right. So for everyone that rolled over a 15, amongst the small crowds of people, they're sort of like hunkered together in certain corners. The old basements down here do seem more lit up, more lively. People seem to have moved in more following the increased, well, you can presume, increased guards in the city upstairs. But amongst certain groups tucked away in small alleys, you see a sort of vial that's reoccurring throughout people's possessions, sort of holding and sometimes drinking this. Let me find the description of it that I wrote a million years ago. Yes, it's a sort of orange amber color. Very vibrant, very shimmery. But none of you have clocked this before. Specifically down here, you haven't seen such a thing. But you all do get glances as you walk through. But everyone down here seems to look a bit sickly in a way. Some people's fingers look like they're turning black at the tips. Same with their noses and their ears. Sort of very sickly people looking more gaunt than normal, paler. Some people look much better than others. And with those rolling over an 18, this seem to be the people holding these vials with them.
Huh.
Do any of you have a specific destination within the Soth they'd like to head to first, or are you just
Wherever Theo's
exploring?
going.
Okay.
I think I'm going kind of deeper into the Soth, like where we had seen those more untouched areas.
Okay. You do, just based on the routes you've taken before, you do pass by the sanctuary. Again, similar to the rest of the Soth, there's a lot more people within. You do catch a glimpse of Kith as you pass by, but she seems to be busy. But no other figures that you recognize. In fact, you do also pass the below bar with Ball, the goblin, returned to his station behind the bar as you quickly slip past into the familiar, less crowded ruins. There are a couple people lingering by that table where you saw those shifty figures discussing in code all those weeks ago. But you press past and enter the much more abandoned areas of the Soth.
Hey, Stellic, does this seem familiar to you at all?
the rest of you see apparating this almost like tangerine-sized skull appear in the air. Ethereal, floating, almost ghostly apparition. Theo, you hear in your mind. I say this does look familiar. I mean, this is Mythera, but I don't remember it being underground like this.
Oh?
It has been some time.
It has.
Are we hearing the skull?
No. Just Theo.
Theo?
Mhm.
Are you talking to that thing?
Oh, this is Stellic.
Right. Where did it come from? Or did you just make it?
Sort of.
Oh.
Remember on the island when I fell into the hole as a baby?
Baby Theo.
That's the same skull. That you found in an ancient ruin dig site, correct?
Yeah. Well, this isn't.
I hate magic. Okay. What does the skull say? Just giving in to the weirdness. Like, what else? What can we do now?
Well, it's familiar, but it wasn't underground when he was alive.
Okay.
I mean,
Oh, go ahead.
the city was struck with some magical attack, like a large scale, like almost an explosion of sorts, but it wasn't anything with that destroyed or meant to destroy buildings. It was more of a caustic attack. Though I don't know why it's been so destroyed like it is.
Did people survive? Were you here when it happened?
I wasn't. It was long after I left, though I did hear about it. I don't know what became of this city, but I'm sure we can ask.
Start looking around for. I think there was a demon skeleton.
There was. A bit further in, you can find the skeleton of this what you can only assume to be something fiendish, devilish, where you found that curved, darkened blade that Valkyra took.
But is there any jerky of it left?
Make an
I'm going to kill myself.
investigation check.
No.
Not good. 4.
It's just bone, but I'm sure you can make it work.
I wanted jerky.
Apologies.
What could come of this thing?
I'm gonna ask it.
What? Wait. Huh? What do you mean? It's dead.
I'll start arranging the bones back in a more humanoid form, so they're not scattered around. And I'll cast Speak with Dead.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
Oh.
Wait, does this not have a duration requirement? Can't you, or is it literally any ancient dead thing you can talk to randomly?
You
As long as
grant
it
the
has a mouth.
semblance of life and intelligence to a corpse of your choice.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the corpse.
You just
So,
need a head. You really just need a head, and that's it.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it must still have a mouth.
This
Yeah.
thing
It's
is gonna
even less
curse
than a
us.
head.
It's gonna use its moment
Yeah,
of
really.
life to curse us all.
But you see, as you assemble this corpse back together and cast the spell, none of the rest of you see this. But in sort of the same shade of color as Stellix's apparition, you see a very faint, like, body, like a ghost imprint over the skeleton. And you see this very elongated face, strong features, strong cheekbones, deep sunken eyes, darkened, and horns that curl back, framed by a fountain of this oily black hair behind it. And you see sort of like a reconstructed ghostly figure of this devil, while the rest of you just see a corpse, and its jaw hangs open, looking expectantly over at Theo.
Hi, I'm Theo. What's your name?
Gorath.
Boy.
One question.
I think he needs a lozenge.
If only Ash were here, he could give him advice.
Gorath, what's the last thing you remember?
War.
We picked the one devil with like 4 intelligence.
Correct.
Whoa.
Poison City. Elves with swords. Weaklings. Then it was dark.
Just gonna break it to him that he's the one that died. Not necessarily.
She's like a cockroach crawl over its eye for a sec.
Oh. Blech.
This poison, did it turn people's fingers and ears black?
It turned everything black. It rotted away the flesh into wet piles of shit.
And where do you come from?
Hells. At least that's what you call them.
What was that? I didn't catch that.
The Hells, at least that's what you call them.
Do you have one more question?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Is there a memory that died with you that you'd want the world to know about?
Ooh.
Wow.
What the fuck?
Oh. Tells you about its 8th birthday party.
Yeah, I know a spot.
One time I got
got
this really cool pencil kill.
I was playing League of Legends.
When I was playing League of Legends.
I hit a clip.
I hit a clip, but the clip died with my phone. No,
Shouts out his SoundCloud.
Yep.
How beautiful I saw your world the first time I laid eyes on it.
Hmm.
And even more beautiful the vision we had for it.
Hmm.
Its jaw goes slack again and then cracks off the skeleton's face and falls to the floor. Theo, that visage dissipates.
And I also got a Nintendo 64 for my.
The first time I played with my Wii.
with his wee wee.
With his wee wee.
Wii Sports Resort.
I defeated Matt.
I was really good at Wii tennis.
So of all of that, what did we hear?
You heard
Anything?
all of that.
Oh,
Yes.
well, I'm moderately disturbed.
It worked.
That was. What did you do?
Hate magic.
What? That was dead.
It wasn't Gorath himself. It was only a shadow of his personality.
How? But
But it was dead.
how did? How did you summoned him? What? What?
Well, when a person dies, a very, very small part of them is left within the body. And what we saw now, it was more of the body remembering rather than the soul itself. But it's the first step.
You just need like a body, and you can ask it anything.
Mm-hmm. And well, if it has a mouth, then it can answer back.
Is it compelled to tell the truth? Like, would it divulge its deepest secrets?
No.
Hmm.
But the goal isn't the truth. The goal is reanimation, re-life.
Still, yes, potentially useful for finding or learning some new information. Right. Felix's mind drifts off to tin.
Theo, I think, just kind of takes out her spellbook and starts jotting down notes on how the spell went.
That was incredible. I had no idea something like that was even possible. Is that something you knew how to do, Theo, or is that your friend?
I figured it out myself.
Figured it out?
Well, I did have some help, but it's not like the university has many books on that kind of magic.
What? Is mind-blowing. A normal person figures out how to swing a sword, how to tie their shoes. You figured out how to talk to something that's been dead for centuries. That is, I apologize. I'm
That was
bewildered.
rather impressive, yes.
There's rumors of very powerful mages in the past bringing back the dead completely without even needing a body. I'll glance at Thyra.
Sometimes it's better to let the dead rest, Theo.
Maybe.
Do we think that this poison that this Gorath was talking about has anything to do with the plague that seems to be grabbing hold of this city now?
I think it was the oozes that we fought back when we first were here.
That's what I was worried about. Were we killing like ancient people who were diseased that turned into puddles of ooze? Is that what was happening?
Seems likely.
Oh, God.
But if the ooze has been seeping down here for all this time and then got out to the surface, it would make sense for it to start to spread again.
I was
I was
I
just
was
wondering.
about to say that. I was about. Ah!
They don't have mouths though, do they?
You need a mouth.
I feel like in that moment, like while that was being said, like I shoot a glance at Theo, and I like start to say it, but don't say it, but like we exchange like a nod. I'm like, you know what? I wonder if we could try to do it on the oozes.
It's as above table. It really is like if you got the spell slot, I mean, it's worth the try.
I think so.
Oh, brother.
If you got the spell slot, might as well try.
Might as well try. We gotta find some ooze though.
That shouldn't
Well-
be too hard.
Yeah, I guess we pick a direction and just walk, or we go to where we killed that last like hive mind or whatever it was.
That's
Start
true.
from there, branch out maybe.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Or maybe, ooh. Okay, hold on. Theo.
There's also
if-
that house. Sorry.
No, that's okay. Oh no, I actually couldn't. I can't. That's meta because Stellic only talks in Theo's head. Never mind.
But there's also that house that we got the letter and the ring from
Mm-hmm.
that was full of ooze that we didn't take care of. Like we were just
Oh,
like,
yeah.
well, we're just gonna walk past
What,
this.
and what about the letter? Don't you have a letter? Don't you have a letter, Leah?
Oh my
Don't
I
you have
do
a letter?
No, I don't speak Elvish. I didn't
You didn't think to ask the help?
I didn't
Man,
think
I
to
wonder-
ask the elves.
man.
No, I
If
didn't.
only we had someone who spoke Elvish.
That's so wild, I know. Hey Theo!
Yeah, Thyra?
Hi. You know, being back
Yeah?
here, brought up some memories. The house that we originally explored with, more ooze. Well, I had a letter I found in it, and I've actually never been able to read it until. So maybe you could give it a try. I think
could.
it's Elvish.
It's a physical letter?
Oh yeah,
This was
it came with this ring.
right.
We have so little evidence of written Elvish from that era. I mean, this.
I didn't take the ring. Just never mind. It's just the letter.
Oh, but you remember there are rings.
There are rings, yes, in the house.
We should go back for them.
I see the letter.
Oh yes.
Ooh,
Right. You look at the letter. It's an Elvish. It's an old Elvish, but you
it's
can
like
understand.
Shakespearean.
It's like Shakespearean Elvish.
Thou art the son of my eyes.
But you can read it. And you can translate it back to Thyra. And it says, "We seal our love with our fate.
Oh my god.
We die together this day. Our hearts will live on together for eternity with the capital E in the dark seas above. Should anyone find us please return these rings to our bodies and bury us together. If not, ensure our rings find the hands of equally faithful lovers. Signed, Vele and Nazca Woldemir.
Oh my god.
Wow, I feel really
You've
bad.
had this whole time.
That is
I
so
feel
rough.
so
This whole time.
bad.
Holy shit.
I feel terrible.
You know where you left the rings.
Let's go get him.
You trace
This
back.
this is the main quest.
Yeah, the main quest has changed.
You
Oh.
trace back to that locked drawer, pull it open again, and see this very decrepit looking old box where you found the letter. And inside, two,
Oh my God.
pretty well intact, but a little tarnished gold bands.
I think Thyra picks them up and, now knowing the meaning behind the letter and that, she, has a small heartbreak for them and she understands of not being able to be with the one you love. And she just, takes it with her and tries to fulfill the promise that it was asked of her. I'm sorry, Anneka. Don't give me things, because I won't remember.
Oh boy.
I remember the stupidest stuff, but certain things, no.
So now you have a pair of wedding rings and a translated letter.
Oh. Just twist the knife, why don't ya?
I was waiting to twist the knife for a year.
Yeah, we found this session 2.
Literally.
Oh my gosh, Anneka, you're trying to kill me session 2?
Yes!
That's 44 sessions ago.
Yes. This heartbreak, 44 sessions in the making.
It's longer than that.
It tracks. It tracks.
Yeah.
Well, when we get there, I'm gonna wrap them both gently in a shroud.
What? Say that again?
I'm gonna wrap the skeletons in a shroud.
There are no skeletons to be seen in this room.
Oh, well, never mind then.
It was insinuating if there were skeletons, but none that you see.
Imagine it was signed as like Stellic or something.
That'd be
How
wild.
fucked would that be? My god.
Love Stellic.
Love Stellic. It's like, oh yes, I do remember this place now.
What do we do now? What do we do now?
Does anyone know any equally faithful lovers? Perchance? All right.
We're a bunch
all
of
speak at
sad.
once.
We're fucking sad people, Felix. We don't know anyone. Those parents.
Oh my god.
What's it like having two parents that actually love each other? Wow.
Well,
What are we doing now?
maybe we should try to find more about this sickness.
It is strange that this sickness is happening. I wonder. We don't really know why the attack happened to begin with, do we?
No,
At the gala.
that person died before we could get information.
Right.
Sorry,
Is
who?
this there was sorry, Hailstorm. There was an attack at a gala in Mythera not too long ago. We were in attendance. It seemed to be targeting some officials, the mayor included. I think the mayor made it out alive. We trailed the assailant, though they killed themselves upon being taken. We're unsure why it happened, although there have been whispers of the Empire attempting to expand their territories. It's, I believe, safe to assume that perhaps this could have been an attempt to destabilize the main power on this continent in Mythera.
Right.
But my line of thinking is going towards this illness. Is it just a mere coincidence that this illness is happening, or could it be some chemical warfare?
I'm not sure who would even be able to control the oozes
I could think of
if
someone.
it was a conspiracy.
Oh, this is starting to get convoluted really quick.
Are you trying to tie this back to your Osteros?
I mean, that lab that we came across, it was filled with all manner of things.
Yes, and also in a
Herbs,
different country.
plants.
I'm not saying it can't have a connection, but that's a pretty.
You're
really
right. You're right. It is a stretch.
Why don't we go to the police? See if they have any more information. Who we worked with before?
What, the sheriff?
Mm-hmm.
Sheriff Kaz, I think the name was. I'm not sure. Theo, what are you thinking? You wanted to come down here first. Do you think we should continue searching down here for anything?
Well, we could see if the spell works on one of the oozes.
We're still down here. When in the south.
Talk to a puddle.
Maybe in summer I'll be a happy snowman.
So you're gonna go talk to a puddle.
Mhm.
All right.
We're gonna talk to him's emo cousin.
Jesus Christ.
That's amazing.
It's not a phase, Mom.
Okay.
I'm an
This is who
ease.
This is who I am.
Idiot. All right. So you
My
go
Chemical
find.
Romances plays in the background while you're talking to them.
So I assume you retrace your steps towards that nest that you fought earlier.
Yeah.
You do see, while most of them are eradicated, there's a non-threatening amount left in this area. You do see a mass, sort of like the size of a basketball, within vicinity.
Does it have a mouth?
Does it have a mouth?
Make an investigation check.
Oh boy.
What that mouth do?
What that mouth do?
14.
14? You try to take a peek inside. You see some loose teeth.
Oh! Oh!
Not quite digested yet.
Oh my god.
Can certainly try.
I'll try.
Alright.
This is the worst thing ever.
You cast the spell. And at first, you don't think it works. But then you hear this horrible sucking noise coming from the ooze.
Oh boy. I don't like this anymore.
As a faux mouth, like, almost opens like a crater in the side of the mass.
Oh boy.
The little bits of teeth do sort of begin to form at the front of it. But no words escape other than just a shrieking noise. Like someone shrieking while being gurgled into water.
Okay.
As it still tries to slowly pursue you as it has been. Antagonistically.
Can I like use frost, ray of frost to like freeze the bottom of it so it doesn't come any closer?
Oh yeah,
I'll do that.
you shoot out some ice towards it, and it begins to like coat it like a shell, like a hard crust over the ooze, this icy exterior. The mouth kind of like half freezes, still slightly gargling with that sloppy, slimy, squishy noise.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm Theo. What's your name?
Still more of that, almost like a vacuum in pudding. No words, just
How did you get there? How did you get there?
My god.
Oh my god. What a description.
it tries to say something. You are just completely unsure what it is.
Oh boy.
I think I'm just gonna try to put it out of its misery.
Jesus.
No matter what you do, it's
Gave it
pretty
sentience
easy
just
do
to kill
now.
it.
Yeah.
It's not sentient. Let's be clear. Easy enough to dispatch as it's frozen in place and much smaller than you are. Just dissipates into a puddle.
I put a hand on Theo's shoulder. Oh, I gave it a try.
That was awful.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Again,
Take
very
out my
disturbed.
spellbook. Big letters. Do not try on oozes.
This-
Underline, underline, underline.
Underline, highlight.
Just give her a few shoulder squeezes.
Let's go talk to the sheriff.
You make your way out of the soft, retracing your steps. Back through the inn and out into the nice, comforting daylight of an ooze-free overcity. And quickly make your way towards city center, which is not far at all from the inn, to the guard's post. The receptionist asks what you're up to, what you're looking for.
Looking for Sheriff Kaz. Are they in today?
I believe they are. Let me go check on him.
It's good to see you.
Nice to see you all. It's been so long. I will
Sure
go.
has.
I will go get them for you. I will be right back. And the little halfling woman jumps off her chair and scurries down the hall.
I'll look over to Hailstorm. We're regulars here.
She'll very sassily cross her arms and look at you.
At the prison.
Huh.
She scurries back with the gray-skinned, half-orcish visage of Sheriff Kaz following behind her. A very large disparity between heights. It's a little comedic, but she hurries back, plops down in her chairs. Kaz places a hand on her desk and looks over at you. What can I do for you?
We've just found ourselves returning to Mithera, and we were looking to inquire on the this recent plague that seems to be ailing the city. Just had some questions about it.
Oh, that thing. It's been a pain in my ass. We got the whole city cowering, at least the overcity's cowering with fear over this thing. They're terrified of catching it, especially after what happened with Carrianos. It's a travesty. But I've been trying to get to the bottom of this for weeks.
Wait, as Carrianos fell to this plague?
Yeah, Governor Rainbolt Carrianos, that's what kind of started the whole scare about here is if someone so so much of prestige such as him fell to this thing, it's not something to be trifled with.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah, we've been kind of reads your face after that. If you're thinking there was any foul play about this, kind of pulls you off to the side, all of you, in more of a shush tone. If you think there was any kind of foul play with this, because I know how it looks. everybody saw it too. Someone, the governor, catching an illness that only seems to be sort of affecting the Undercity. Like, that looks suspicious, right? I looked into it, me and Stormbrook, and we couldn't find anything. It was all no signs of any other presence, something that might have spread to him. Couldn't find it. And
I'm thinking that whatever force or faction, the damage that they intended to inflict on the Gala wasn't sufficient. Their target wasn't met with the proper end.
Why would the same thing be affecting all of the low-end citizens?
Collateral.
It's just a matter of how. Look, I can talk to Josiah and we can sort this out. But if you all want to take a stab at it, I'm all ears. Because, if this thing doesn't get sorted out, it's kind of on my ass too. So.
I think we can look into it. Kind of looking to the rest of the party.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to speak for us all, though. If there's if you can, yes, I'm more than happy to look into this. Our curiosity is piqued. Theo here is brilliant when it comes to the arcane and the esoteric. Is there a chance you can, maybe if there's anyone that is currently under intensive care that has this ailment, I don't know, Theo, if you'd be comfortable with observing said patient.
I'll try. Not sure what I can find out.
Neither do I.
Look.
I'm spitballing here.
I mean, we can certainly find someone in the in a medical ward, either here in our building or at I think the university's taken up a few cases as well. But it's everywhere. I'd bet you could look just right on the street and somebody knows somebody. It's everywhere.
Is there an antidote? I saw people carrying these orange vials.
That sort of gets excited for a moment and then recoils and then pulls you guys further back into the building. We still haven't been able to get our hands on some of that. But from what we've seen, what informants have seen, that shit, I don't know what it is, what it does, but it's sort of making people resistant in a way.
But wait, what? It's it's an unsanctioned cure, almost?
Yeah.
A mysterious illness starts to plague the city, and a mysterious antidote is being sold without under the radar?
Yeah,
That's a bit curious, don't you think?
very curious. Again, my office is filled with paperwork about this, but no one. We can't get any leads. They just don't trust the guard. No one trusts really anyone anymore. Likely except the person that's distributing that cure. Look, I'll get a gold reward payoff, but if you could procure one of those vials, we'll likely compensate you for your work. And even more if you can find any other information on this.
Well, Felix, I think you don't look that good. Perhaps you need
Yeah, I'm hungover.
Perhaps you should go seek some treatment.
Right. Right. Yes. Good idea.
Where were they selling it?
I assume all across the South. People are tight-lipped down there, though. I hope you know people.
We could go to the sanctuary.
We can talk to the ooze again. We know a demon. Gorath, he's our in. We could probably ask around.
Good. I'll get this relayed to Stormbrook.
All right.
Good deal. Be safe out there. If you start feeling sick at all, leave. That shit's nasty. They turn and walk back to their office.
Boy. Well, Theo, I hope you've been studying some diseases.
I will begin with this one.
I feel like your brilliance is going to come in very handy here.
Once we have one of those files, I can figure out what's in it.
Let's find ourselves a vial then.
Soth.
Back to the South.
And that's where we can end our session for tonight.
Nice.
Yay!
We did it, you
did
guys.
it. We played D&D.
We played D&D. Is this what it's like?